And so now here we are, a year after calling for defunding of the police, a year after the communist mayor of New York City's daughter is arrested, vandalizing the city in a Black Lives Matter protest. And the citizens of New York are going to pick either a law and order black policeman running for the Democrats or what people have described as a vigilante, but who is basically a law and order do-it-yourself guy from the city. Those are their choices. So what does all this say? What does it all mean? Well, to me, it means two things. First of all, it means that my theory is essentially correct. If you want to cure people of these bad ideas, the only way to do it facing this cycle of history, facing this enormous wheel, the only way to change them is to give it to them. If they have insane ideas, you can stand against it, and I have as long as I could, until it became clear to me that what I'm standing up against are not bad policies or bad politics. I am standing up against the wheel of history that is not going to stop no matter what I do. So, give it to them. So what does that mean? Well, it means that this giant wheel of history is turned well, the good part of it lasted for 25, 30 years. The bad part revolved in two. Really, I mean, if you think about it, starting with the pandemic and then the George Floyd unrest and so on, the bad times in New York City caused by weak men like Bill de Blasio lasted about 2 years. And the bad times in New York City got so bad so fast that already those bad times are creating strong men. It's going to be one or the other. It's either going to be a black Democrat ex-cop running on Law and Order, or it's going to be a guy who thinks that Law and Order is a do-it-yourself project. If the government won't do it, then he'll figure out a way to do it. Those are the choices. And I'm not making this up. Not making this up. This is what happens when you give people a chance to experience the insanity that they're calling for. We may not be able to stop that wheel from turning, but we can guide it. And what I mean by that is this. When that wheel is on the uptick, when things are getting better, when strong men are coming to power, and when strong men get us into good times, and as the good times eventually start to bleed into creating the weak men, that top of the cycle, we can slow the wheel down. We can slow it. We can't stop it, but we can slow it. And New York in a microcosm is exactly that. But more importantly for us, especially right now where we are, we can also speed the wheel up as it goes through the parts of the cycle that are catastrophic to humanity. We can speed it up. Together, we can stretch out the good times, accelerate the bad times, and the way we do that is to essentially be standing there and screaming at the top of our lungs as this wheel starts to go down. You're not going to like this. Here's what's going to happen if you do this. It's not going to stop it. They'll do it anyway. Because the people who live in cities, especially the people who live in the most refined part of cities, are so far away from the wolf and so far away from the idea of seed corn and common sense, nothing is going to get through to them. History tells me this. But you can't say, don't do it. If you do, this is what's going to happen. And then when it happens, you need to be there as a political movement with as loud a megaphone as you can manage to say, we told you that this was going to happen. It happened. Now let's tell you what we can do to make the good times come back and last as long as possible. It really is a case of achieving the impossible because the U.S. women's soccer team has managed to get hundreds of millions of American patriots to root against the American team. Now, that's an achievement that I think is unparalleled in Olympic history. I don't think I can ever remember hearing of a case not only where American athletes were generating so much rage and anger that the entire country wanted them to lose. I'm not aware of any time in history that any team for any country has gone to the Olympics and made their home country proud by losing in a humiliating fashion. Megan Rapinoe and the rest of you on the American women's soccer team, you have achieved a kind of Olympic immortality. You have managed to take the country's flag to the Olympics, lose, and make your country unbelievably, immeasurably, unspeakably pleased about it. Congratulations, Megan, and the rest of you. I know this might come as a bit of surprise to you. I suspect a lot of reality comes as a bit of surprise to you. Let's not forget, of course, that Megan Rapinoe and the rest of the American soccer team that won the World Cup just dominated the game, as I said, for practically a decade or more. These are the women that said that they should get paid the same as male basketball players. And they lost to, I can't remember if it was a junior college team or a junior high school team, but they lost to a bunch of 15-year-old boys, I guess, so probably junior high, in a scrimmage match they had. But they want to get paid the same as everybody else because of the patriarchy and all the rest of the evils inherent in the American system, which is why they stomp on the flag and take a knee and disrespect the flag. And that's great. So just a short little message today for all of you, but specifically for the women's soccer team and all of the fans of the women's soccer team. It's a simple message, really. I think even a progressive can understand this. If you spit on the flag, don't be shocked when the flag spits back on you. Okay? You're going there at our expense. You're wearing our colors. You're representing me. You're representing millions and millions of Americans.